So this is Jon Gabriel with the Gabriel Method, and welcome to this new monthly webinar series called What's Working Now. And you already know that the conventional approach to weight loss through restrictive diets and calorie counting doesn't work. And the purpose of these webinars is to provide you with real, holistic solutions that do work. As you may know, my coaching team and I have recently started an intense private coaching program called the Ultimate Coaching Experience. And since all of us, myself included, work one-on-one with everyone in the program, it occupies the bulk of our time. So we decided to make this amazing series of webinars available freely to everyone so you can get a sense of what's working now for our clients in the coaching program. And today's class is the first in the series, and it's called Learn 7 Simple Fat-Burning Breakfast and Snacks. And I'm pleased to be joined by my good friend and colleague, Heather Fleming. Heather's a nutritionist with the Gabriel Method coaching team, and she and I were both part of an amazing documentary film where she was the nutritionist for a group undergoing a massive transformation. And we'll talk about it in a second. It was really amazing. People lost over 100 pounds in 4 months. It was really amazing. And Heather's the founder of a successful nutrition program and author of the Have It All Diet. She helps people understand their bodies and discover how common sense and self-discovery can heal the body. Heather is truly talented. Our clients really, really love her. I enjoy talking to her. She's full of wisdom. So let's bring Heather in. Heather, are you there?
I am here, Jon. Thank you, everyone, and the team for supporting this webinar. So thank you, Jon.
Thanks so much for joining us. I just want to mention to everyone here that if you have questions, look at your chat box. You can ask questions. We've got people, you can just put questions in the chat box, and we've got people that can answer it. But if you want to talk to us directly, put your hand up and talk to us. That's the best way to get information. You've got 2 experts in mind-body health here who can really help you solve your problems. It's a huge opportunity. So if you want to talk to us, put your hand up. At a certain point, we'll start taking questions. So Heather, I just want to tell people, mention a little bit about that documentary that we did, because I think it was so incredible. And I just tell people the way that we met. I was asked to be part of this documentary where they took a group of people, it was 4 people, and they lived in a house for 4 months together, and they were eating a specific type of diet and doing exercise and things like that. And I was asked to come on at the end to do visualizations and guidance for people. And I was a little bit kind of sus that it sounded a little bit like a Biggest Loser or something like that. And I was afraid that they weren't really in the same kind of philosophy as us. But when I got there, what I discovered was that from a nutritional standpoint, they were 100% in line with us. They had lost massive amounts of weight. One or two people lost 100 pounds. Another one lost 80 pounds. Another one lost 20 or 40 pounds over a 4-month period. But the amazing thing was they were eating and eating. Heather was encouraging them actually to eat more. But the thing was, it was really healthy food, real live healthy food. And they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe the transformation. I couldn't believe it. And I just said, Heather, you have to work with us. That's how Heather and I got started. And Heather, I thought that the job that you did in that documentary was absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. It was so fun. At the beginning, it was a blast to watch them think that they were going to go on like 2 pieces of celery and a carrot diet. And then I just piled their plates full of vegetables and salmon and, awesome food. And they're like, we don't really trust you because we don't think we're going to lose weight on this program. And I go, how about give me 7 days? And then they all lost like 10 pounds by eating. And so I really believe this documentary is going to help shift that paradigm of restriction, and actually feed and nourish your body. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So the whole paradigm, the whole basis of the documentary was that you actually have to feed people that are overweight, not starve them. And the reason is because they're already nutritionally starved. I thought it was brilliant. The success was unbelievable. And I remember talking to the people in the documentary, and they said exactly what you just said. When she first came in, we're like, does this lady know what she's talking about? She's telling us eat more. She's piling more on our plate. And that's your whole philosophy. You've got this book, Have It All Diet. So I want to talk about your approach, and specifically this webinar, we're really talking about breakfasts. And so let's start with that, and let's talk about why breakfast is so important. Why is breakfast so important?
Well, our bodies just slept for, at least hopefully 8 to 9 hours. And during that time, it was, yeah, hopefully, slept and also slept through the night. And your body was working diligently to de-stress, detoxify, and then replenish every system of your body. So when you wake up, you want to feel refreshed. And your body, again, just worked really hard. So you need more nutrition to get it started because it just ran a marathon all night. And so first thing you need to do is feed your muscle mass and feed your body.
Yeah. Now, so what happens if you don't have a good breakfast? Because everyone talks about you need to have a good breakfast. What happens if you don't have a good breakfast? What can go wrong?
A few things, but you'll you'll miss that beat, and then the body will go, oh, wait, what about us? We were working all night, and now you didn't give us anything to pack our lunches with. And then when you do go eat, it's going to be a little nervous that you're going to starve it, and so it may store some of the food in your fat storage versus utilizing it.
Right. And so what I find happens with people, and I certainly lived through this myself. And I see with many people is typically when the fat programs are on, what happens is your daily cycles get reversed so that your cortisol levels, which should be high in the morning, are high at night, and low in the morning, and a couple other things get reversed. A couple other hormones like leptin and insulin, their cycles get reversed a little. So what happens is we're not hungry in the morning, but by 11 o'clock, our blood sugar has dropped so much that we're all of a sudden famished. And then when that happens, the only thing we want is a quick fix, right? You want junk food when your blood sugar goes too low. And that's why at 11 o'clock you want a donut, you want a bagel, you want something that's going to give you the quickest carbs possible. And that's the worst thing you can possibly eat, because then that shoots your blood sugar skyrocketing, which shoots your insulin levels skyrocketing. And insulin's the fat-making hormone. And then your body goes into perpetual fat-making mode, and your blood sugar fluctuates all through the day. So what I find, and tell me if you find this also, that when people have a good breakfast, it keeps their blood sugar stable, so that at 11 o'clock they don't have those ravenous low blood sugar junk food cravings, and then they can keep their blood sugar stable throughout the day.
Absolutely. It builds such that foundation that you don't go and mindlessly and unconsciously eat. Like, it's even out of your control when the donut cart comes by and you go, did I just eat that? I wasn't even that hungry, I thought. Yeah. But your blood sugar takes over and your nervous system goes for the quickest fix to get some nutrients in.
Right. And what I find is when I work with clients, if they don't have a great breakfast, the rest of the day they're all over the place. You have to be really, really, especially when your fat programs are activated. When your fat programs are activated, you lose the ability to regulate your blood sugar properly. And so you have to be really, really proactive with your blood sugar. What does that mean? It means that you need to eat foods that keep your blood sugar stable even before you're too hungry. You can't let yourself get too hungry, because once that's happened, it's too late. You'll make bad food choices, you'll crave junk food, and then your blood sugar will skyrocket and plummet throughout the day. And every time it plummets, you crave more junk food. So you end up craving junk food all day, not because you need calories and nutrition, but simply because you're not able to keep your blood sugar stable. Mm-hmm. So I know, Heather, when you work with our clients, you do a lot of things to keep their blood sugar stable, and breakfast is one of them. So I'm wondering if we could talk about what's a good breakfast versus a bad breakfast in terms of nourishing your body.
Great. Well, our goal is within an hour of waking to get some form of nourishment in their body. Even if the fat programs are really turned on, if I can have them, we can start them out with a handful of almonds within that hour, and then have their tea and coffee, take a deep breath, and then assess some type of breakfast.
So what you're suggesting is you want to do something right within an hour of waking up to keep your blood sugar stable. You already, the same thing that I'm talking about, being proactive with your blood sugar, you want to hit that even before maybe you have a proper breakfast. You even want to have something. What about like a healthy juice, a healthy smoothie, or even super greens or something like that? I sometimes have soup. Like when I wake up in the morning, I do my meditation. Maybe halfway through, I'll have a super greens or something like that.
Oh, good. Yes, absolutely. A few of the breakfasts that we'll talk about, or even a vegetable juice. But I tend to see a lot of like our clients we're working with, they were talking about how you used to feel, that heavy cortisol shooting up
Yeah,
at night, and then them eating
yeah,
all of their food at night. So guess what? When
yeah,
they wake up in the morning, they're not
yeah,
hungry at all.
yeah.
Until we get that start to switch over, even that little handful of almonds, that little, half of a protein shake, half of a vegetable juice, and then all of a sudden their body will it'll respond, and
So,
then you'll be naturally hungry too, and then we can start going with the bigger breakfasts.
so what you're saying basically is you need to eat something right away. You got to
Absolutely.
get your blood sugar stable right from the start, and then you can
Yes.
make good choices. Is that right?
Correct. And coffee and tea doesn't count. They have
Coffee
to.
and tea does not count.
Nope,
Yeah.
does not count. That can actually kind of throw us off
Yeah,
a little bit.
you can tell my editor that he's here. He lives on coffee all day. He and I work together all day, and he's just on
Just
the
have
coffee
one
machine.
handful of almonds. I actually will physically, for some people, will be like, can you put the almonds next to the coffee maker and put
You
that
know,
jar there? And
yeah.
then they'll do that while the coffee's making. So at least we're getting their body some vitamins from the almonds or walnuts or anything. I'm just picking on almonds right now. And then the
Just just
coffee goes in.
Just on almonds, I just want to mention, I have to mention, I have a lady now that I'm working with who used to be a
Mm.
pastry chef, and now she's a raw food guru, and we're making
Mm.
raw chocolate recipes and dehydration recipes like flax crackers and chia seed crackers, and even dehydrated breads. It's really exciting types of recipes. But one of the things she does, and it's absolutely amazing, is she activates and then dehydrates her almonds. And it's the most
Yes.
amazing thing in the world because almonds have a coating on them. Most nuts have a coating on them that's like an enzyme inhibitor that keeps you from digesting the enzyme, the almond. And it's actually a protective mechanism that the almond uses to stay not eaten. And so you have to break through that enzyme inhibitor. And so what she does is she soaks the almonds, and they actually activate. They kind of almost even like sprout a little, but then they're soft, right? So then she
Hmm.
dehydrates them. She puts a little tamari on them, and she dehydrates them, and they become really, really crisp. And the dehydration is at a low temperature, so it doesn't kill it doesn't kill all the healthy fats that you need. And oh my God, they're crunchy. Like I cannot. When I have those almonds around me, they're just. I don't have to worry about eating
Once
a handful. I mean, they're always there. I'm just going through them.
once
They
you
are
have
amazing.
those, it's so hard to go back to the others, and
It
they're even
it
trying.
is.
Yeah, they're starting to. I know a couple people here are trying to get them carried in some of the stores here in California and San Diego.
Oh, good.
So
Well, we have them
won't that
here
be
in
great?
Australia. We have them
Oh,
here in
good.
Australia. Activated nuts. It's a company called To Die For, and oh my
Oh,
God.
cool.
They are, and you know what's amazing when you eat them is the way your stomach feels. Like normally
Yes.
you eat almonds or eat nuts in general, and there's a little bit of a tightness in your stomach. You know the feeling is little bit of bloating,
Hmm.
tightness. You don't get that with these nuts. You absolutely, there's no feeling like that whatsoever. So, but this is something
That's
you can
great.
do at home anyway. This is just a little tip. It's really easy to do. You can take any type of nuts and just soak them for, I don't know, how long would you soak them? A couple hours, overnight? What would you do, Heather?
I recommend nuts 12 to 24 hours.
Okay. So you
Yep.
you soak them 12 to 24 hours in water,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
you can put them in your oven at the lowest setting for a couple of hours, maybe two,
Hmm.
3 hours at the lowest setting with the door open. Maybe use a little bit of tamari for seasoning, and you've got a crunchy activated nut that's super healthy, very easy to digest. Have a couple of those in the morning, and you'll be in good shape. And before we
Yeah.
go any further, Heather, I just want to mention we've got a lot of people that are wanting to ask questions, and
Okay.
Sherry and Lucas are going through those. And I'm just going to tell Sherry that we will take questions in a little while. I just want to talk a little bit, get into some of the breakfast, and then we'll open it up to questions. So in about 15 minutes or so, we'll start taking questions. So,
Sounds great.
but okay. So now we all have this problem. Most of our coaching clients have this problem. I don't like breakfast, right? Because
Yes.
basically, for the exact reasons that you just said, that that our cortisol levels get reversed when our fat programs are on and we're hungry at night instead of the morning. We've got to reverse that cycle so you're not hungry in the morning. You don't want breakfast. You don't like breakfast types of foods. You're in a hurry. All of these reasons why you don't have breakfast, but it's such a disaster, and it's so crucial to get this right. So what do we do about that?
Well, the simplest way is to find those quick, easy breakfasts that at least two or three of them that you can have your go-to. And a lot of our clients tend to do one or two of them during the work week, and in the weekend they explore and experiment a little bit more. And then once they get that experimenting down, then that becomes a quick breakfast for them too. because I love variety. I don't love our clients to do the same breakfast 7 days a week, because again, variety is the key to success with nutrition for sure. So I just help them feel empowered about making those quick little breakfasts, and we pick on 2 that they really love, and then they get those 2 down, like I said, and then they experiment and explore on the weekend. And we can talk about a couple of the ideas too if you want to jump into that.
Let's do that in 1 second. I just want to I want to talk general. I still want to talk general for one more second, because your big thing is eat, eat, eat. But but the other thing is eat the right things. So before we even get into some breakfast recommendations, let's just talk conceptually. Like conceptually, what's the right thing to eat for breakfast? What's the wrong thing to eat for breakfast?
Wonderful. We get to talk about the big 3 on the program, and if some of you are new, it's our proteins, essential healthy fats, omega-3s, and vegetables. Those are our big 3. And when you start to implement those, and especially if you can do that for breakfast, your day is so changed, because again, when the donut cart comes by, you're not going to mindlessly eat it. If you start out with like sugar, you're only going to crave sugar. And sugar comes in all shapes and sizes. It comes in, flours like pastries and bagels, which is the go-to for a lot of people, is that quick energy source, and it's easy to grab and go. And then fruits and yogurts are also they can turn into sugar really quick. So we like to combine foods that can turn into sugar quickly with healthy fat, protein, and vegetables. So substitute.
Exactly, or find alternative. Yeah. Exactly. I think a good way to look at it, Heather, is that the more sugar you eat in the morning, the more sugar you will crave throughout the day.
Absolutely.
It's just that simple. Because what happens is when you eat foods that elevate your blood sugar too quickly, you will have sugar cravings every 2 hours for the rest of the day. So the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you crave. And so, when Heather says sugar, she's talking bread, cereals, and then obviously sugars and donuts and things like that. So these are the types of things that will cause sugar cravings. Now, many people think that a really good breakfast is some cereal with skim milk. Mm-hmm. And they believe that that's a good breakfast, and I happen to not agree with that. I'm wondering what you think about that. I'm sure you hear all the time that they say, oh, my diet's really good. I had Special K with non-fat milk. What could be better than that, right?
Right. Yes, we all were taught that was a healthy breakfast back in the 80s when we went low fat to prevent cholesterol, which is a big myth. And what that tends to do, those 2 foods are sugar. Skim milk is just lactose. There's no healthy fat in it because of them taking the processing the fat out, and then of course the cereal was maybe a little bit of healthy fat in there, but then they've condensed it now down to just a simple carbohydrate. There's not even a complex carbohydrate in there.
So you're basically just having sugar for breakfast and
sugar. Two sugars.
2 sugars, and a step further, the milk is, because it's pasteurized, can often cause inflammation in your stomach. The gluten in the sugar in the bread can cause inflammation in your stomach. The hormones involved in inflammation activate your fat programs and cause you to gain weight. And the biggest paradigm shift that people, I think, need to understand, Heather, that we all need to understand, is it's not about calories in or calories out. It's about the hormonal effect of the foods you eat, as well as the actions and the thoughts and all the different things in your life. It's the hormonal effect. And when you look at the hormonal effect of having cereal with skim milk, you're elevating your insulin levels, which is the fat-burning hormone. It's causing sugar cravings throughout the day, which is going to make you gain weight. It's causing inflammatory hormones to be elevated, which cause you to gain weight and cause you to have sugar cravings and junk food cravings. So all these different things are causing a hormonal effect, which causes you to gain weight. So what we need to do is eat foods that cause a favorable hormonal environment that's conducive to losing weight. So maybe let's get into it, and maybe we can talk a little bit about what some of your favorite recipes are.
Oh, good. That sounds great.
Should we go for the first one? Here, I'm going to just put the first one on.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I'm following you. I'm right there.
Stay with me 1 second. Aaron, I can't change this slide for whatever reason. You know what? I might just, hold on 1 second. Stay with us 1 second. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. Okay. There you go. What'd you do? Just work now. Okay. All right, good. We're back in business. So, all right. So, Heather, you there?
Yes, I am. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yes,
So
perfect.
let's talk about your number one recommendation for the morning, Eggy Veggie Saute. Let's talk about that. So
Yeah,
what do you like about this?
I like this because you're getting your healthy fat from the oil. You're getting to start your day with vegetables. And when I see our clients start their day with vegetables, I see their success rate just fly out the window. They just do so wonderful, so much
Yeah.
quicker because you're helping your body become alkaline and you're getting extra nutrition and fiber right away in the day
All right, so
versus other
there's a tip
choices.
right there. There's a Heather favorite tip. And by the way, Heather, I'm always into picking your brain because I've seen how incredibly successful you've been, not only with our clients, but in that documentary, which is going to come out in a couple
Yeah.
of months. I'm
Yeah.
always into getting your tips. So it sounds like a big Heather tip is eat vegetables in the morning. It's going to be more. The more you do that, the more successful you're going to be. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's kind of it's not the easiest to do, but we made it really easy, especially with number one, that you
Yeah.
put, heat up some oil. We prefer coconut or grapeseed, especially with higher heats, and then
Okay, let's
throw
talk.
in a hand. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Let's talk about that because I want to talk about the oil that
Great.
you're choosing. You're choosing coconut oil or grapeseed oil to put in a skillet. So why those oils?
Those two oils have a higher heat point, so they don't denature. So you're getting
Right.
still some quality and nutrition out of them.
Right.
I don't trust myself as a chef completely, so if I use olive oil, I tend to overheat it. But if,
Yeah.
if and that, I love olive oil, but not at higher heats, especially if you're
Right.
in a hurry with a scramble.
Right. So this is a really important point. So going back to the hormonal effect of what you eat. So
Mm,
we're eating oil. Now some people say oil's bad for you. Oil is not bad for you. Fat
mm,
is so essential for you, but the key is that it's the right fat in the right way. Now when you cook fat, most fats that you cook, even omega-3s, which everyone knows that I love, once you cook them, they become a bad fat because they get denatured. Most fats when you cook them become bad because they get denatured, and that causes a cellular problem around the lining of your cells that causes hormonal problems that cause you to gain weight. Once again, it's not the calories of fat, it's the hormonal effect of the foods you eat that cause problems. But when you use coconut oil or grapeseed oil, and I also like ghee, which is clarified butter, when you use
yeah.
those, they don't get corrupted at high temperatures, so you're still getting healthy fats that your body can use, so you're not getting the hormonal problems that cause you to gain weight. So we start with some healthy fats, coconut oil, grapes,
Hmm.
cold pressed, by the way, cold pressed
Hmm.
virgin coconut oil, grapeseed oil, or ghee, which is clarified butter. We're going to put it in a skillet. We're going to put a handful of vegetables. Spinach is great if you're in a big hurry. What else? What do you
I
recommend?
just even like I have our clients like cut up a bunch of broccoli, in smaller pieces. They can throw in the
Yeah,
skillet too. Spinach, onions, red bell peppers. Just like even something you could practically find out to eat because that's like a
yeah,
normal omelet too. So
yeah,
once you have those handy. Even some amazing health food stores have them prepared for you a little bit too. If you know that you have a really busy week, that's something you can try to jump ahead. Fresh is ideal, but if you do need to do some frozen, especially if you live in climates that doesn't always have fresh available, you can do frozen and throw that in with the skillet with the oil, and it takes less than probably 2.5 minutes or so to get the vegetables going and not,
yeah.
tender. And then you can throw the eggs on top and lightly cook. Of course, if you don't like the runny, we don't want to force anything down your throat, but ideally the runnier the better for more nutritional content. So don't cook,
Yeah.
the yolks all the way through and make it overcook it because then you're losing some of the nutrition from the eggs.
Right. So you're getting good protein from the eggs, and you're getting some healthy fats. But again, when you
Hmm.
overcook it, you lose some of the protein. Not all of it, because protein's harder to denature, but you are losing the healthy fats. Now, as
Correct.
far as
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
vegetables go, what's a really good suggestion for vegetables is locally grown spray-free that you might get at a farmer's market. Those are
Mm-hmm.
usually cheaper. They're in season, which is usually what your body needs, and spray-free is
Mm-hmm.
usually cheaper than organic. So that's
Yeah.
it. So that's usually a great way to go, is locally grown,
And
spray free.
yeah.
So we put, and that's it.
And
So what do we have here? We've got healthy fat, we've got really good vegetables, and we've got protein. And I think you're going to see when we look at these different breakfast ideas, you're going to see a theme here of protein, because protein nourishes your body and keeps your blood sugar stable. Protein is essential for all the different hundreds of thousands of enzymes we have in our body, and also for our
mm,
muscles and skeletal system, even our bones. I was talking to a metabolic doctor who's I just think is brilliant. His name's Dr. Ron Rosedale. And he was talking about bones and bone
mm,
density and how we think taking calcium is going to make our bones more dense, and he says it's not what makes our bones dense. It's the protein matrix. So you need protein. You need protein for your muscles, for your bones. You need it for enzyme activity, and if you don't have it, you're going to be hungry all the time. And the amazing thing about protein also is it keeps your blood sugar stable for long periods of time. Whereas when you have, for example, cereal with milk, right, your blood sugar is going to shoot up and then it's going to plummet way down. When you have protein for hours, your blood sugar is stable, which means that at 11 o'clock, you're not getting blood sugar cravings, or low blood sugar, you're not getting junk food cravings. And then when it's 12 o'clock lunchtime, you get to make a good food choice because you're not overly hungry. Don't you find that, Heather, is the case that when people have a breakfast like that, by the time they're at lunch, they're not famished, they're going to make a good choice?
Yep. Absolutely. And even if they've had those fat programs reversed for so long and this starts making them hungry, I start to kind of get excited about that too. Okay. Because now their fat programs are reversing and their body's like, oh, good. And it's utilizing the food and the systems are working too. So that's always a good way to look at it too. A natural hunger.
I agree with that. Now, notice in this particular recipe, we didn't really talk about portions. So let's talk about that. Do we need to talk about portions?
Well, for like one person, I don't worry too much about portions. Like I said, depends on the person's needs and how limited they've been with nutrition, how much they've not been eating. So I almost tell people it's not what you've been eating, it's what you've not been eating that's been harming you.
That's what I love about you. I love that you're not focused on portions. You're focused on nourishment. It's very much in line with our message. Nourish your body.
And every day is different. There might be a day that, one egg is okay, and there might be a day you're like, wow, I'm really hungry, and, it's a 2 egg and extra vegetable and extra oil day. And it's that 1 second you tune in instead of you following a program, it's you listening to your body going, you know what, I didn't eat enough vegetables yesterday. I'm going to throw one more handful in today.
Exactly.
And that's when your program is yours. That's when you're empowered, and this program works for you instead of you working on the program.
Okay, excellent. All right.
And then, you know what? One thing too, sea salt and pepper too. Put a little seasoning on there. Sorry, guys. We want you to like your flavor, so oregano and other herbs and such too. So that would make this one yummy too.
Heather, we got to check your volume. Is that just Heather's that's coming in, or am I coming in that way, Aaron? Okay, Heather, just play around with your audio because it's making a little bit of a reverb noise all of a sudden. Check the connections.
Okay.
And I just want to mention, Heather, you there?
Yes. Okay, it's okay now.
No, it's not. Just play. Just have a look. Maybe go on speaker if you have to. I don't know, but the connection is a little bit off. Okay.
How's this?
Yeah. Okay, that
Better?
looks like it's going to work.
Okay,
yeah, that's great. Okay, good. All right, good. Let's keep going. So let's go to number 2 then. Protein powder, a protein shake.
Oh, yes. That's one of my favorites to have our clients start out on.
Okay. And I just want to mention, before we talk about the protein shake, once we're done with this one, we can bring Sherry, Aaron, we'll bring Sherry in and just ask 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll keep going. We'll take a little bit of a question break. So in about couple of minutes, if you have questions, raise your hand, and we'll take them. So here, I like this because people are in a hurry, and there's nothing quicker than making a protein shake. So tell me about this one.
What's also fun, we're coming into summer up here, and so it's a nice cooling breakfast too. And so when we start out with, I usually have people start out to 4 to 6 ounces of unsweetened almond milk, and then add water or a little bit of ice to their desired consistency. So this is about what you like. Sometimes people like thin, and sometimes people like thicker. So play around with that portion. And then the cooling of the frozen spinach. And the reason we love unsweetened almond milk is because, it's lower in sugar. And then the reason we pick spinach, too, is, of course, getting the vegetables in. If you really want to, be courageous, you could do kale also.
Yeah, that's courageous. I agree with that. So let's talk about the unsweetened almond milk for a second. When you buy almond milk off the shelf, and by the way, you can make almond milk pretty easily, but if you buy almond milk off the shelf, if you read the ingredients, what you're going to find is it's loaded with sugar. They use that to make it taste better, but some almond milks are unsweetened. And then you can we like to take things like protein powders and almond milks unsweetened and then sweeten it ourselves with either the fruits that we want or the sweeteners that we suggest that are the right sweeteners to keep your blood sugar stable, that don't cause the same hormonal problems as most sugar. So we're using unsweetened almond milk. We're using a little bit of spinach. You've got chia seeds on here, which I love. Chia seeds are a really, really good source of omega-3 fatty acids, and omega-3 fatty acids, in my opinion, are essential for turning off the fat programs. They change your hormonal environment, they change your cellular environment to make your body burn fat much easier. I recommend trying to get omega-3s as often as possible. So we've got some chia seeds. Let's talk, and then you're going to put some protein powder in here. What type of protein powder are we putting in there?
Yeah, I have people try 1 to 2 scoops of protein powder, and I love people to try pea, brown rice, or whey protein. And it's also nice to, even if you like one, it's good to try the others because sometimes your body likes to rotate them also.
Okay. I personally don't like the pea protein. I've tried it a few times. It tastes like mashed peas to me, and powdered mashed peas. I can't get away. There's almost no way to disguise it. I don't care what I do to it. I feel like I'm eating powdered mashed peas. So that's just me. Some people really like it. Whey protein's probably the most palatable, and you can get it. The best way to get it is if it's from grass-fed cows, because then it's got less hormones and preservatives, and the people that produce it that way are a little more conscious, so the production of it is going to be a little bit better for you. So that I think is a good way to do it. Then we're going to put some berries in there. Is that right?
Of course, yeah. My favorites are blueberries, raspberries. Be a little cautious of over strawberrying, because that could get the blood sugar a little bit. Okay. But that's why we have the berries or half a banana. And you can do frozen too if it's tough for you to find fresh, ideally fresh. And then the frozen gives it a little more of a icy, smoothie effect.
Okay. So and then we have here if you need more sweetener, you can put a little bit of one of these healthy sweeteners. So let's talk about these healthy sweeteners. We've got xylitol, stevia, and coconut palm sugar. Well, why are they better than just the table sugar that we use?
These don't affect your insulin and blood sugar as much because they don't spike it as high. And then we put all 3 on here because everyone has a different taste bud, and so I have people try one of these 3, and usually people find one of them to work for them. Right.
Now with this smoothie that you have, the berries for many people might make it sweet enough, but if you need a little bit more sweetener, experiment with these sweeteners because they don't elevate your blood sugar, they don't elevate your insulin levels, so that you don't have that effect that we talked about before where you're eating sugar in the morning and then craving sugar the rest of the day. You don't have that anymore. You're keeping your blood sugar stable. This is all about nourishing your body and keeping your blood sugar stable. So before we go on to the next one, Aaron, if you want to put Sherry or a questioner through, we can talk either directly to a questioner if you have one, or to Sherry with a quick question.
Hey, Jon, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, Sherry, how are you?
Hi. We've been great. We've been having so many interesting questions from listeners, and you guys touched on this particular one at the beginning, but it's such a great general question that I thought maybe if we could just answer folks real explicitly. A person named Ziva B on our live event page asked, what are the combination of foods that are best for you at breakfast? And we touched on this, but maybe just give that again. And then another question we had is someone's looking for sources of protein who's a vegetarian beside what is found in vegetables, and they'd like more information on that. So those are two to maybe start with.
Let's start with the first question. So what are the types of foods we recommend at breakfast? We did touch on that, but it's so important. It's such a good question. Let's talk about it again. So Heather, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, with our recipes, we have a few of them that have this combination, and it's protein, healthy protein, vegetables, and essential fats, or omega-3s. Omega-3s are essential fats.
Yeah. So those 3 combinations, the protein, the live, healthy vegetables, preferably live, or certainly any type of vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, but healthy vegetables and omega-3 fats, that combination nourishes your body and keeps your blood sugar stable. And those are the things you want to do when you eat breakfast. You want to nourish your body, you want to keep your blood sugar stable. Again, the things that cause the problems are just the typical standard breakfast that most quote dietitians recommend. I heard one person who a metabolic researcher who I respect tremendously once said that if you want to look like a pyramid, eat the food pyramid.
I've never heard that. That's good.
Because the food pyramid talks about the base of it is all sugar. It's all grains that turn into sugar. That's the base of it. And those are the things that really cause the most problems because they do not keep your blood sugar stable and because they elevate the fat-making hormones. So the combination of protein, vegetables, and essential fats is a brilliant, brilliant combination for any meal, but especially for breakfast, as we're going to show in some of the other recipes. Now, so the other question that Sherry had was about, and I get this question a lot, I'm a vegetarian, I don't get enough protein, what should I do?
Mm-hmm. That's where we hope that they like the pea protein powder. Or
yeah, you have to. Yeah. The bottom line is if you're a vegetarian and a real strict vegetarian, that is you're not having eggs or dairy or anything else, if you're a real strict vegetarian, you do need to find a protein supplement, and maybe once, what would you recommend, once, maybe twice a day, having like a protein?
Absolutely, definitely, at least 15 to 30 grams once to twice a day, depending on the person. Okay. It so helps them feel more balanced too, and then not crave the carbs, the simple carbs, and refined carbs. And then hemp. Excellent. I have a lot of my vegans and vegetarians prefer
good one. Hemp. I love hemp.
I know. I thought of that right when she asked the question.
And the other thing is not only hemp protein, but just hemp seeds. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds, they have good protein in them. Right. So having those in larger quantities is a great thing to do. So I love hemp seeds. I think they're amazing, and they're good. They're good source of omega-3s too. So those types of seeds are really good. And of course, nuts, if they're activated, the way we talked about, are not bad also.
Especially if they're vegetarian, we would recommend them to do activated nuts and seeds. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, activated nuts and seeds. So, all right, so Sherry, thanks. And I just want to say to everyone that's listening, if you actually want to speak to us, you can. If you put your hand up, Sherry will talk to you, and then we'll bring you in, and you can actually talk to us. It's an opportunity, and I would encourage you to do so. So let's move on now to number 3, which you're calling the guac and roll dippers. I like that name, guac and roll. So what's happening with the guac and roll dippers?
This one's another, we made these really quick. So if it's some like morning, you can even have this for morning or a mid-afternoon or mid-morning snack when you're craving more savory. You know that feeling when you're craving either sweet or savory?
Absolutely.
This would be a great savory dish. So you just take half an avocado and smash it with a fork, add some seasonings, and then you can cut up some raw, red peppers, jicama, and broccoli, and dip that into the little concoction. And you'll give yourself a nice, satisfying snack, either before you're going out for dinner in a couple hours. This would at least, and you were ravenous, this would be a great thing to have before you go to dinner and then accidentally eat other things that show up on the table.
Yeah, there's a couple of things in this recipe that I want to talk about. First of all is avocado. So a lot of people don't know this, but avocado actually has a sugar in it that inhibits the pancreas from secreting too much insulin, which is really good for weight loss, because remember, insulin's the fat making hormone, and the biggest problem that we have is we over-secrete it, because the foods that we eat trick us into over-secreting it. Avocado actually tells your pancreas, hey, don't secrete too much insulin, which is fabulous when you're trying to lose weight. So that's a really good thing. You're putting flaxseed or chia seed oil, which means you're getting your omega-3s, and as we talked about, omega-3s are really essential. Sea salt. I want to talk about sea salt. Now, salt in general has gotten a bad rap too. There's so many myths out there that we're finding are just so dysfunctional. The fat-free myth and one about salt. So salt's a big myth. This idea that salt's bad for you. Now, table salt, which is just sodium chloride, is bad for you and does cause bloating that can lead to high blood pressure. But table salt, but sea salt, also Himalayan salt and Celtic salt, they all have trace minerals that our bodies are starving for. We're not even getting it in our soil anymore. We're starving for it. And whenever you're starving for anything, it causes you to eat and eat and eat. So I actually eat salt. I salt up all of my food, most of my food now, with really, really healthy salt. And I find that my body loves it. And there was even a study recently that not getting enough salt can cause insulin resistance, which causes you to gain weight. So it's a real paradigm shift, but salt and fat, if they're the right ones, are big, big friends for weight loss. Wouldn't you agree, Heather?
Absolutely. And what's so great too is that it helps those your taste buds get activated too, so you feel more satiated instead of always wanting cravings. Always having craving because those taste buds aren't getting
exactly. Well, and the reason we're getting it's satisfying our taste buds is because we really need those trace minerals, and if we're not getting them, we need magnesium, we need iron, we need silica, we need so many different things for metabolic processes, and we're not getting it. We're not functioning right. We're going to stay hungry. You need to nourish, and this goes back to your whole message of feeding. You need to feed your body the types of things that it's craving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you also have a good tip here. You can serve with an egg or salmon. I agree, because then you're getting your protein. Because this particular recipe is not that high in protein. You need some good protein. So have some source of protein with it. You got yourself a perfect breakfast.
Yeah, that would help make it more of a complete like breakfast or a complete meal. And just without the protein, it'd be like a good little snack as you're going to have protein later. So
yeah. Now, this next one is one of my all-time favorites, and I have it all the time, and I love it. I love the taste of it. It's easy to make. It's got all the ingredients that you need. Let's talk about smoked salmon wraps.
Great. I love doing these because it's just so a great appetizer too. If you're getting ready to, like I said, go out for dinner, have people over, this would be you can have one of these on your way out for that. But we did 2 nori sheets. And with the nori sheets, the seaweed is high in iodine, which is a lot of us are in need of that.
And trace minerals that we were talking about. The seaweed has all the trace minerals from the sea. And the other good thing about it is that in the combination, it's the combination that you need of minerals because our blood is very similar to salt water. So the salt in seawater is a really good type of combination of minerals. So seaweed's got the right combination of minerals that our bodies need.
Yeah, so you take the sheets and then you can mash the avocado, or we have a recipe coming up here where you can do a little bit of hummus here too. Then you can, smear that on the nori, then add the smoked salmon, and then cut up a couple vegetables, and we did tomato and cucumber to make it crunchy. And then and bean sprouts are really good in there too. Ground chia or flax seeds for the essential fats, and then of course a little sea salt to taste. Or it's pretty good without the sea salt too if you're not needing any extra minerals for that because you're getting it from the nori.
I would add in some of these when I make these I put spinach in there or some sort of lettuce because when it comes to greens, my opinion is the best green you can possibly have is live leafy vegetables. It's got chlorophyll and it also has life force energy that's still intact and still condensed in the leaves in the form of biophotons that our body needs for proper metabolism and proper DNA functioning. So my favorite green is always to get something live green like a spinach or a lettuce. So I would definitely put that in there. So let's look at some of the components here. We've got in the seaweed, we've got lots of trace minerals. We've got the avocado, which we talked about. It's good. We've got smoked salmon, which is good, which has 2 things. It's got omega-3s because of cold water fish, so it's got a good source of omega-3s, and it's got protein. And then we've got some vegetables in it. And then the flax seeds, chia seeds also they've got fiber, they've got protein, and they've got the omega-3s, sea salt to taste. And I love them. And if you want, I sometimes do this. I actually get wasabi to give it that Japanese feel. I use wasabi and ginger. And there's one other thing that you can do with these rolls. I don't know if you ever tried this, Heather, but you might want to try it, is you can take cauliflower and put them in a food processor so it's ground up into bits, and you can use that instead of rice. So it gives it a rice feel, like a nori. Yeah, it works so well. If you've never tried it, try it. I do this all the time, and it gives it that rice feel to it, that like a nori wrap and regular that you get at a Japanese restaurant. So you combine what's that?
And the texture,
the mouthfeel. Great. Yeah, and it's cauliflower, which is one of the best things in the world. So when you combine that, the ground up cauliflower with the wasabi and the ginger, and you put all these other ingredients, it has a great taste to it. And then you can dip it in tamari instead of soy sauce, because soy sauce has gluten and usually has some artificial colorings. If you get tamari that's organic tamari, it doesn't have any artificial colors, doesn't have any gluten in it, and you get yourself a really, really nice wrap. So I love that. I love that recipe. Okay, so now we're coming on to one that I think the kids absolutely love, and it's such a win. And this is blueberry chia pancakes, and we're using as a grain rather than using wheat or some of the grains which we've been kind of dissing over this past webinar. We're using something called chia bran. And chia bran, I'll just decide before I'll let you take over in a second. Chia bran is something I discovered a few months ago, which is basically when you take a chia seed and you get the oil out of it, you're left with fiber and protein. There's nothing else in it but fiber and protein. It's called chia bran. But when I first saw it, I thought, well, why would anybody want chia bran? Because it's missing the healthy fat. But the reality is it becomes a great type of fiber that's like a grain substitute that you can make cakes. And we make cakes, cookies, breads, and in this case, blueberry pancakes we're making with Chia bran. And again, all it is, it's 20% protein and fiber. There's nothing to elevate your insulin levels or mess up your blood sugar. You're just getting protein, so a real win-win. So let's talk about this recipe.
Yeah, pancakes, we want to help people support like their emotional cravings too.
Yeah.
And you know how like when we all grew up on pancakes or Saturday morning, and this is one of the best recipes that you're going to be getting the nourishment from the pancakes instead of feeling like you're in food coma all day after the other type of pancakes.
Exactly.
And yeah, so this one we might recommend for you to practice over the weekend until you can get it down, or it's a great one you can make a bunch on the weekend and then you can freeze them or have them ready for you to go for the work week too.
I gotta say though, it's actually not that hard. And the reason why I know it's not that hard is because I can make it. There's very few things I can make. But this is really, it's true. And this is so easy. You're taking some Chia bran, you're taking some eggs, some blueberries, a little bit of coconut palm sugar, some salt, a little bit of unsweetened almond milk. Although I would say with this recipe, it says a half cup of unsweetened almond milk. I would hold off on the almond milk till you put the eggs in and check the consistency. The consistency should be like a thick, pasty batter that's similar to pancake batter that you've used before. Add the unsweetened almond milk afterwards as you need it. You may not need a half cup. I don't think you will, but up to a half cup of almond milk. You use ghee. Again, we talked about ghee. Ghee is a healthy oil. You don't have to use ghee, but it gives it a good butter taste to it.
Yeah.
And you just make them just like pancakes. And it's easy and it is, I'm telling you, these things are delicious. Yeah. And I love this idea that you have of serving it, topping it with a little bit of berries and coconut yogurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll give that cooling with the starch. It'll make it feel like you're having like the butter and syrup, but you're having the coconut yogurt and the berries. So
yeah.
that will complement it really well.
So if you look at this recipe, there's a lot of new and interesting things that many people you may not have seen before. For example, you've got Chia bran, which we just talked about, almond milk, which some people have heard of, ghee, which we just talked about, and coconut yogurt, which is yogurt made out of coconut instead of dairy, which gives you all the friendly bacteria, but without which we need, and we're going to talk about in other webinars, but without the problems that dairy has. So I definitely love this recipe. I know Sherry's got a lot more questions actually. So maybe we'll just bring Sherry in to ask a few more questions before we talk about the last two recipes that you have on your list.
Great.
So Sherry, you there?
Yes, I am, and we have had a lot of folks asking if you could define or describe live food. That's a new term for a lot of folks, and is it different than raw food? Is it different than whole food? So I'd say that's the first question, and then we have a few more good ones.
Let's start with that. So do you want to start with that one, Heather?
I'll let you start because I'll let you.
Okay. Yeah. So to me, my definition of live food is uncooked, which is very very similar to raw food. So live food and raw food are probably very similar. In what they have in them is they have live enzymes that your body needs. They have a lot of them have healthy bacterias and other healthy organisms, live organisms that your body needs for digestion. And if it's like a leafy green that's uncooked, then it also has chlorophyll in it and life force energy in it that our bodies need that are so essential to our body. And if you think about it, years ago, I always go back to what were we like thousands of years ago, or what did we thrive on, because our bodies haven't changed metabolically in thousands of years. So what worked then? Well, back then, thousands of years ago, almost everything we ate was live. It was uncooked, and it had that life force vitality. It had the healthy digestive enzymes and the healthy bacteria. And when you cook something, when you process something, it loses that. And if you look in our grocery stores and if you look in our pantries, almost everything we have is dead. and I think that the more dead food you eat, the closer, unfortunately, you are to leaving this earth, in my opinion. The more live food you eat, the more life force vitality you have. So that's what I would call how I would define live food. Whole food is a little bit different. So whole food just means that it's as little processed as possible. That's what whole food would mean. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, like for our perfect example with our pancake, we used whole food and then we complemented it with live food with the fruit and the coconut yogurt on top. So I love that it's not just a all or none type program. It's like showing you how to complement cooked and live foods together too in your diet, and supporting your body with both.
Exactly. So, all right, Sherry, you want to ask another question?
Yes, I do. So a lot of folks are juicing already, actually, and they wanted to know if juicing on its own is good enough for breakfast. If they're missing perhaps some protein or other things, and some folks also exercise first thing in the morning, and they just juice. They want to know if that's sufficient. So sort of a variety of questions all about juicing in the morning and is it enough?
Okay. Heather, do you want to start with that question?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd like everyone to do a little mini check-in first before you just follow a regimen. So I love that, you're getting up and exercising, so vegetable juicing would be great to do prior to the exercise, and then having a nice supported breakfast with the protein, healthy fat, and vegetables after would be amazing. However, if you're vegetable juicing 7 days a week just for breakfast, I would challenge you to give more variety into your life and just give your body a chance to, maybe there's mornings that you're having struggles or there's days, that you're having struggles with cravings, and we could play around having the egg and veggie scramble for breakfast, and that might help support your cravings. So it's looking kind of at the stepping back and looking at the big picture versus just doing something 7 days a week because of it being convenient and that all or none thing.
That makes a lot of sense. I'll just add to that a couple of things. One is that if you're just juicing, then you do want to find a way to get some protein in your body in the morning and sometime during the day, healthy fat. So just juicing doesn't give you protein. Also, be careful if you're just juicing that you're not juicing fruits or carrots or beets, because it turns into sugar too quickly in your body. And the worst thing you want to do is juice because you think it's the right thing and it turns out to be the wrong thing. So if you're juicing, you want to juice green and maybe put in a little lemon and ginger. So I usually have a juice of celery, cucumber, lemon, and ginger. Maybe I'll put some kale or spinach in there. That's the juice. Now, if you have a smoothie, which is different, it's in a blender, then you can get a whole meal out of it, because in a blender you can put avocado, you can put protein powder, you can put, and then you can put whatever vegetables you're putting, and you can put fruit in it, because it's not just the fruit sugar you're getting, it's the fiber, and all the other ingredients that you're getting will slow down the release of the sugar. So if you're having smoothies, those are an excellent complete breakfast. Now, with the exercise question, I think it's great to have a juice in the morning and exercise, but then you need to follow up within a half an hour after exercise with some good solid protein. That's pretty important. So that's okay doing that, but having a juice, working out in the morning, and then having some protein. So we're running out of time pretty quickly, so I want to get through some of these other recipes. So we've got your number 6 one is the sweet sensation snack. Let's talk about that.
Oh, good. Yes, I wanted to help support people's sweet tooths. So we did an apple and then raw almond butter, and you can do a little squeeze of lemon on that, and you can even put some chia seeds in with the almond butter and mix that around, which gives the almond butter an extra little crunch in there.
Yeah.
And then you dip that in. It's super great if you're craving sweet. And then also if you're feeling like your blood sugar's controlling you, if you want to control it, this is one of the quickest ways to get your blood sugar under.
I think this is great. I do this also with berries, like raspberries and even blueberries. I'll mix in with it. But what you have here is you got almond butter, which has protein, healthy fats. You've got chia seeds, which got the omega-3s and add a good crunch to it. And then you've got a little bit of sweet, but it's not going to cause you problems, because you've got these other things, the healthy fats and the proteins that are in the butters and the seeds, or the almonds and the seeds, that are going to keep your blood sugar stable. So this is a snack. This is so easy to make, and you can have it as a breakfast, or you can have it as a snack as you're going out. So
especially for our clients that are not ready that have those fat programs still, and so if they're not hungry in the morning, this is a great way for them to start getting that the nutrients in without being too hungry.
Exactly.
Filling of a breakfast.
And you've got a nice little note here. You can, instead of almond butter, you can have tahini. Now, tahini is ground sesame seeds. It's a sesame paste. I eat bucket loads of tahini. I happen to love tahini. And that combination of chia seeds and tahini, I eat all the time. I'll just mix chia seeds and tahini in the morning. I'll have it in the afternoon. It nourishes you. It keeps your blood sugar stable. The one thing I do have to recommend, though, if you're mixing chia seeds and tahini, and it's probably true with almond butter too, you need a toothbrush on standby. because it creates this paste that lines every crack and crevice of your gums, and you can't just have it at the office and expect that everything's going to be all right. You need a really good.
Yeah. I love the chia and nut butter combo. I feel
That's
like
my
a
favorite
lot of
combo.
get energy source from it too, almost kind of like a caffeine high, but without caffeine. They get like a lift, and that's a great thing to have in the morning if you're trying to not use caffeine as your energy source.
That's probably one of my biggest snack staples is that combination of tahini and chia seeds. I have it all throughout the day. Almost every day I'm noshing on it. But again, bring a toothbrush.
Yeah, bring a toothbrush. Good time to floss.
Yeah. And then we got your final one is hummus and the 3 C's.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Hummus is a great thing to have on hand. It's so easy to make too, just garbanzo beans, and what we just talked about too is tahini and garlic, and you can flavor it any way you want and blend that all together. And then you can just take carrot, celery, and cucumber and use that as the dipping. Always you can do ground flax on top of the hummus too. And another thing I like to do is even like a little olive oil on the top, and that just makes you feel more satiated instead of going, oh, I need more. The little bit of olive oil will just go, oh, nope, I'm good now, and you'll feel satisfied with that.
Right. Yeah, and again, if you're having it as breakfast, if you're adding like an egg or have it with some fish or something like that, you're getting a really good protein. But I have that snack also all the time, just a little bit of ground flax seeds or chia seeds with some hummus and veggies. Really good. Simple to eat.
There was a common theme to all of our recipes, There was definitely the helping with the savory, the sweet, and getting the big 3 in, the proteins, healthy fats. Yep.
Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that common theme. Let's get with I know you have some final tips for us, so let's talk about that.
It's nice to have just the fresh vegetables pre-chopped in the fridge, because then, like I said, when you threw it in the skillet, they'd be ready with the oil. Then right there with a couple of our snack ideas, they're ready. Even like some chopped veggies to throw into the blender along with your smoothie, if you're making one of the smoothies. That's a nice one. And if you're working really hard at night, you can do extra meals at night and take those in for breakfast or lunch the next day, so you don't have to feel like you're a slave to the kitchen. So you can just kind of add another, few ounces of protein or so, and then you'll have another meal ready. Don't be afraid to eat savory rather than sweet things for breakfast, especially like some of our vegetarians. They may want something, they're kind of maybe tired of sweet, they'll need some savory. It's good to go back and forth between those, because that gives your body more variety. And then the dead carbs in the morning, we want you to focus on more live foods, such as the protein and veggies and omega-3s. And that just helps your brain. That's a brain food, and it's just helping you feel leaner and more energetic throughout your day.
Excellent. Well, we're almost out of time, but we do have one person that just wants to call in and talk to us, and we'll just take her call. We can only take that one call, but we've got Deborah calling in with a question. So, Aaron, if you could put Deborah through, please. Deborah, you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you?
Fine. My question is about females that are in menopause and have no estrogen. Is there something extra to do to help that?
Okay. Heather, do you have any thoughts on that?
That's a whole nother webinar.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's a great question, though. It's a great question.
I know evening primrose oil is a really good one to take, and it's true, that is a whole nother webinar that we're going to have, and we're going to have a series of webinars on this. But in general, what I find with menopause, and this is from working with a couple of experts in the field, is that the overall stress of the menopause, the hormonal changes, can cause weight gain. So the more you're dealing with stress through either doing different things like visualization to reduce mental and emotional stress, but also eating exactly the way we're talking now reduces something called cellular stress. And so by reducing cellular stress, you are minimizing the negative effects of the lowered estrogen and the hormonal imbalances. So everything that we're talking about here is actually the best thing you can possibly do to help you with menopause, because it is reducing that cellular stress. So I would say I wouldn't change anything in terms of from an eating perspective from what we're recommending. But we will have another webinar soon on menopause. I think that's a great idea. So, okay. So, Deborah, thanks very much for your question.
Thanks, Deborah.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to bring Sherry in for 2 more questions. Sherry, you there? Sherry, you there?
Hi, yes, I am here. I am. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yep.
Hi. We had a few really good questions, and one that a couple of folks asked, and I think this is so common, is my kids hate having breakfast. They they cannot be tempted to eat breakfast. What should I do? What's a breakfast that's healthy, that's fun, that's fast, and that my kids might actually try? That's the first one.
Okay. So Heather, you have any thoughts on that?
We've actually had some good success with some of these that the kids will start to enjoy. The pancakes especially, or the smoothies. And of course, if you want to make your smoothie and pour it into your glass and then doctor theirs up a little bit to get them to make a little more satiating for them. Or even the pancakes, they get a little more, they get some syrup on theirs. I mean, we don't have to stress the kids out, but we've had a lot of success implementing combinations of what we just talked about for children.
Absolutely. The smoothies, if you do it right, smoothies and pancakes work really, really well with kids. There's no question about it. And if they like eggs, then many of the other recipes will work really well. We come up with recipes from time to time. It's not part of, we don't have them right here, but we come up with recipes that are nut and seed balls that are really quick and easy for kids. They taste great. They're a perfect breakfast for kids that don't have time or don't like breakfast. They want something that feels like a treat, like a nut and seed ball. It works really, really well. They're a combination of like almond butter, sesame seeds, chia seeds, chopped up nuts with some coconut palm sugar and maybe some nutmeg and cinnamon. Roll it all up as a nut and seed ball. Kids absolutely love it if you get the proportions right. Yeah.
I don't want our clients to feel like they have to cook 20 different breakfasts for themselves and for their kids. All you can do is do everything like what you're for yourself. And then, like we said, just like if it's eggs for the kids, you can throw some extra things in for them that will help them eat it. Okay. Or take some things out to help them eat it one way or the other. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, all right, so we'll take one more question.
And John, the nuts thing actually leads us to the next question. You all were speaking about activated nuts at the beginning of the webinar, and a lot of folks are asking, what are activated nuts? Are they different than sprouted nuts? How do I do them, make them at home? It sounds like a good snack.
Right. So activated nuts, the problem with nuts and seeds in general is that they've got a coating around them that's hard to digest. It's called an enzyme inhibitor, and it's an intentional survival mechanism on the part of the plant because it protects the nut and seed from being eaten and from the DNA that's inside the nut from getting corrupted. So you have to break that down, and then it becomes more digestible. So activated nuts are, once you've soaked them, you've broken down this enzyme inhibitor, and it's sort of similar to sprouting, but it doesn't create a full sprout. It just starts to activate some of the biologic activity that would happen when you plant a seed, and that biologic activity is very nutritious for us and very conducive to health and weight loss and digestion. The problem when you soak the nuts, though, is that they become they lose their crispness, and they pump up and they get kind of boring. So you want to then put them on a very low heat, like in either a dehydrator or put them in the lowest setting in your oven, and then leave them there for a couple hours. And then they become really, really crunchy and delicious, but you haven't lost the healthy fats, you haven't lost all the bioactivity that's gone on, and the enzyme inhibitors are broken down. So win-win scenario. When you eat them, you taste a huge, huge difference. You feel a difference in your stomach. So I recommend them very, very highly. So that's great. So I think that's all the time we have for us. So Heather, I really appreciate your time and your expertise. And Heather again is part of our one of our coaches in the Ultimate Coaching Program that we're having. And what we're doing is we're doing these free classes every month to give you a sense of the kind of information and support that we have in this Ultimate Coaching, and to let you know what's working in the coaching with our clients. And this program is a very high-end program in that you're getting lots of attention from me, one-on-one attention from coaches, and we're trying to tailor and structure the Gabriel Method to your specific needs. It's by application only, And if you're interested at all in the coaching program, go to Gabriel Method, thegabrielmethod.com/ultimate to learn more about the ultimate coaching. We have a few spots left, and I'd certainly encourage you to apply. You'll speak to Heather, you'll work directly with Heather, many of our other coaches, and you'll work with me directly also. So in the meantime, we will be doing these webinars hopefully on a monthly basis to just let you know what's going on, what's successful in our coaching program. So Heather, I really appreciate your thoughts, your time, and all of your expertise. Is there anything more that you want to leave with our clients before we go?
I've had so much fun working with your clients, and thank you so much. I love seeing the clients have their the switch turn on, and now they become empowered with food versus being overwhelmed and confused. And so now this relationship they have with food is so healthy, and it's like you see the switch in them, and they are set up for success for life. So it's so fun. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, Heather, and we'll be speaking to you again real soon. Take care. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Have an awesome day. Bye.